Hola bandidos, ¿cómo estamos? Welcome to Mel's Magic. I'm Magic Mel, and this is Al, one of my spirit guides. Welcome here on Mel's Magic Official. We are inaugurating episode 16 of season 6. And I'm going to tell you, I'm Magic Mel. I'm a sorceress. I'm a magnet for miracles. I'm a servant to the light. I'm an alchemist of the new earth. I'm a painter of the numinous. I am a child of Kalima. I'm a priestess of Sekhmet, and I'm a princess from B42 Orionis. Yes, guys, I've done my research. And you know what? I came to this conclusion. Well, I wrote it down for myself mainly, but I never really publicized it like this because I was a little bit like, ooh, should I tell people what I know? And I'm like, yes, this is the time because I'm no longer hiding my light. And the eclipse season, again, has highlighted the need for us to look into our shadows and to see where are we still holding ourselves in the shadow? How are we still dimming our light? How are we still feeding energies that no longer serves us? And this was one of the conclusions, that I am no longer holding myself back. This is a topic I want to talk about. Because what came up was I had to look inside and see what is ego and what is being a personality and having a character. In my last video, I also said, watch it, but I said something about dissolving the ego. And to be honest, I'm not vilifying any aspect of myself, not even my ego. Because once we integrate the ego, we can put it at the service of the divine. When I say dissolve my ego, I mean dissolve my fears, but maybe even that is the wrong way of talking about it. Because as you know, the way I deal with my fears is to welcome them into my consciousness, into the observation of my awareness, and see what they have to tell me. Because even our fears are our guides. So how about having some compassion, even or especially for our fears, even and especially for our shadow, which are the rejected parts, which are the parts that our ego does not want to see, the parts of us we don't really like, the parts where our ego judges, like you're not allowed to form part of my identity, so I'll relay you back to the shadow. That is not being tolerant. So for me, shadow integration is actually looking into the shadow and loving it. And seeing how can I alchemize my shadow parts by bringing them into the light. Because we're not fighting aspects anymore. We are integrating aspects. I watched a video actually on this. I can't remember the guy's name, but I'll quote it in my description box, where he went through Jungian psychology. And Jung, Carl Gustav Jung, is all about shadow integration, no? So there's a difference again between ego, the part of us that rejects the other parts, that acts like a little dictator in our ecosystem of our being. And there's another thing or another aspect where we can literally become an integrated being, a whole being at the service of the light, the universe, the divine, whatever name you want to give the higher consciousness, of which we're all connected to. I took some notes on this because I found it super important. Yes, I'm in lecture mode. Not really lecture mode, but I do take notes. You know, I'm a student at heart, student of life. And have an academic background. So, again, there's a difference between ego and a personality, and owning that personality. I own that Magic Mel is definitely a character. And I own it. I'm not dimming that down to make other people feel comfortable anymore. I want to blaze out my personality like a lighthouse out there to see who of you resonates with me and who don't. Because guess what? Not everyone is going to like me. And that is precisely the point. We do not want to be liked by everyone. Because trying to be liked by everyone means mediocrity. And we want to stand out, don't we? We want to stand out by simply being our true, authentic, I know it's a big word, self. And authentic means to be in alignment with whatever we're feeling, thinking in the moment. And that can change, of course. You know, I told you about how I look back and bow down and respect and cherish all of the different versions of myself that I have been up to now. And even this version is still in progress, in evolution, in expansion. So for me, ego has a lot to do with attachment to a particular identity. And God, I had to go through many ego deaths. I had to let go of my attachment to the identity that I was powerless, that I was timid, that I was the nice girl, that I was only academic. All of that is fine, but the moment it doesn't serve us anymore, the moment it blocks us from expanding, then it's an unnecessary ego identity attachment. Another thing is a personality that evolves, that constantly evolves, because part of that personality will have an essential part that will always remain, a kind of baseline frequency essence, like a scent. Talking about scent, I watched Scent of a Woman yesterday with Al Pacino, and God, you know those movies where we still had awesome conversations and talking about character and personality. I can't remember the coroner's, not coroner's, what's his name? The Comandante, his name, the character he plays, Al Pacino, but he's a damn character. A suffering character because he himself calls himself an asshole, but an asshole who's actually deeply in pain. And the other guy, Charlie, the young student, recognized that and actually helped him not take his own life because he saw through the suffering that was underneath the bitterness. So this colonel that Al Pacino's playing, he has some core, there's an essence to him, a firm essence to him that might mutate and come out in different forms, distorted or divine. You know, we talk about, is it the exalted version or the distorted version? Yes, but there's an innate essence to him. And same with Charlie. This guy, this student exemplified again to me what it means to have integrity. And even Al Pacino. Watch the film, guys. I don't like spoil the whole thing, but watch it. The movie is all about integrity, what it means to have integrity and courage and to stand up for something that you believe in. So, do not dim your light for the sake of assuaging, appeasing other people who are not comfortable with your authentic self. And if it means no longer belonging to a certain group because you are negotiating or compromising your authenticity, your light, and your integrity, then that belonging no longer serves you. I told my Asgard team, my angel spirit guides and ancestors, I said, as long as I have you guys, I don't mind standing on my own. Because I have my back, and I know you guys have my back. And I know that as long as I stay true to myself, I will resonate and I will attract the right people. And the right people can mean one thing for a certain amount of time, and that's okay. Because of this eclipse season, I also realized that, again, everything comes in seasons. Things come and go, people come and go, lessons come and go. As long as we're okay with that and let go and are not attached to it and allow for the process to happen, allow for the river of life to bring us certain situations for a certain amount of time and then have them leave again, then that's fine. The suffering starts when we grasp and hold on and resist our own expansion. So in this eclipse season, I had to make a decision, and remember I talked about it, to leave my Sacred Economy group, which I highly still recommend. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I published a video in season 6. Scroll down a bit. Because for me, what that movement was about, it was the mandala, the alchemist movement, was about personal empowerment, individuation, through the reflection of other people. It's a sacred tool, and I highly recommend it. If you feel, again, I always recommend check it out. If something resonates with you, then it is the right tool. The right is only the right thing if it resonates with you. Not everything will fit you. Not every tool, not every mentor, not every therapist. So look out and find for something that resonates with you for as long as it resonates with you. And when it no longer resonates with you, then allow yourself the grace to let it go. And that's what I had to do. And it was unexpected. But I also had to ask myself, and that is one thing I want to emphasize here. You're not going to get any good questions if you don't, you're not going to get any good answers if you don't ask the right questions, quality questions. So the questions I had to ask myself is, what am I fearing of letting go? And one of my fears said, oh, yes, but you belong to that group. And then my higher self said, yes, for that specific amount of time. But now your lessons are done. They're complete. You are complete. Now move on to the next thing, which is always in your highest good. So I checked that fear. The other fear was, oh, I'm letting other people down. No, you're not. You're not responsible to anyone. You're responsible. And Freya, one of the goddesses, the Nordic goddess, she helped me. She helped me discern boundaries. We're only really responsible to our own soul's calling, and that is very personal. So of course, we're responsible how we interact with people, what we bring to the table, the quality of our presence and our energy. But we're not going to put that above our own soul's calling. And that for me is integrity, realizing that and acting according to that. It takes courage and integrity to stand your ground and have your own back. And that is not to say that we cannot go in grace, move on in grace, because again, at the root of grace is gratitude. So I told my team I'm bowing out with gratitude and in celebration for this beautiful journey that I went through with them. It was unexpected for me to leave the group, but I checked in with myself and my intuition especially. My intuition said it's time to go. It's time to move on with grace. And it does make sense. So again, just to sum it up for me, the mandala, the sacred economy movement, the alchemist movement is about realizing that you are an alchemist. And what does that mean? That means that you're capable of transmuting energy, lower vibrations into higher vibrations, dense powerlessness, guilt, fear, greed, anger, pride, into the higher ones. We are beautiful tools. And our body is a machine, a psychic machine. So once you know that you can do this, that you cannot manipulate but transmute energy, then you are an alchemist. Let's just take, I need a bit of a breath. Let's take 2 conscious breaths at least, vamos. Just inhaling deeply through the nose and exhaling twice as long through the mouth. Because again, the breath is such a beautiful tool to anchor us in the present moment. One more. And as you exhale, imagine feeling that release and that spaciousness that is needed for us to arrive right here, right now. And right here, right now is another important, in the movement we always say right here, right now, and I am complete. And right here, right now, the impact of these 3 words is colossal. Because right here, right now is the present moment. And how much of our time and our misuse of our imagination goes into being too much in the past, overthinking, overprocessing, overworking, thinking what the other one thinks, or imagining the future that hasn't even arrived yet. Our power lies in time out, coming back to base in the present moment, and checking in with our body, who is right here and right now, and doesn't overthink. Check in with our sacral, with our intuition, and ask, what is in my highest? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but right here, right now. That is the power of the present moment. Because then we stop delaying things, we stop procrastinating, we stop abdicating our responsibility. We take action. we come back into leadership of what is required right here, right now. Leadership of our own lives. Because that again comes with empowerment. Being a leader of our own lives means being at the capitan, at the cockpit of our own journey. And there will come a time when the universe tests us and will ask, do you step into your own confidence and trust in yourself so much that you even stand up, not against somebody, but where you believe so firmly in what you're feeling and thinking that you trust to take a step that might look like leaving something behind, going against the grain, being the fool of the tarot, what others might see like a foolish decision or foolish act, but being the fool and having faith that you're taking the step in self-trust and knowing that the universe has your back and the next great thing is just around the corner, but we got to take that step in trust. That is leading our own lives, moment by moment. And it doesn't mean not having a vision. I have a vision, I have plans, but just like being on a sailboat, I adjust the, ¿cómo se llama? El timón. I adjust the sail, I adjust the rudder, depending on what the sea's conditions are in the present moment. So for example, I don't know, you want to say like, imagine like this epic trip from Spain, El Galeón de Manila, sailing across those like in the 16th century. The Spanish, they crossed the Pacific, they crossed the Atlantic. They had a goal, yeah, they want to discover America, but they didn't know what would come up along the journey, what kind of storms they would encounter. So obviously adjust to the storms. Trusting that even the storms, and remember we've gone through this in the past episodes, even the storms are here to clear the energetic field, to let go of, kind of wipe tabula rasa, wipe the window shield clean so we can see better and have fresh air. And it's funny how the weather here actually coincides with that, because we just had a storm and now the air again is so fresh, clear, the humidity is in the ground, no longer in the air, and you just feel lighter. So you tell me, what kind of experience have you gone through just over the past week, guys? It's insane how things are accelerating, how the ascension process is pushing us to come out of our comfort zone and to be honest with ourselves. And this is actually another point. I'm just going to go with the flow now, guys. Ascension is not like, ooh, I'm going to escape somewhere to heaven, escape the material plane earth. And that's actually how I used to be, because I was very much in my head and very ethereal, scared to really be present in my body. But that is not the point of ascension. The ascension has to do with transmutation of our energies and bringing spirit, higher dimensions, back into matter by fully being present right here, right now, with our 2 feet on the ground, on the earthly plane, on planet Earth, in our bodies. Literally embodying a different dimension whilst fully being here, not escaping ourselves. So personally, the ascension, my latest exponential ascension phase has been this: standing my ground, checking in myself with my own integrity and acting from courage, speaking my truth as compassionately, as empathetically, but as assertively as possible. And guess what? That is one aspect, this assertiveness, that used to lie in my shadow. I used to be very timid. I used to shy away from confrontation. I was basically abdicating one of my power aspects, which I rejected into my shadow because I thought, no, I'm not like that. I cannot assert myself. Rejected it to the shadow, and I reclaimed that aspect and integrated it, not as aggression, but as assertiveness. There's a fine line between ego and character. There's a fine line between arrogance and assertiveness. There's a fine line between, oh gosh, I can't even read my own writing. I get so excited when I'm like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. I write it down and I can't even read my own writing. Yeah, there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. Confidence is the exalted aspect. Arrogance is the distorted aspect. And this is something we need to navigate and test out and feel out for ourselves. It needs to feel right for us. And again, this is a school. Let's give ourselves some compassion and some grace that, hey, for example, in my case, I used to people please so much and build up so much resentment that once I actually, I was almost about to blow my lid. Once it gets too much and it comes out as an explosion, yes, it comes across and it sounds aggressive because I repressed it too long. Nowadays, I don't let it get that far. I check in with myself, and in the moment, as soon as I feel that something is off, for example, that my anger is there, I do not repress it any longer and have the anger go against myself and cause depression eventually. No, I listen, I honor my anger, because my anger is here to tell me that some boundary is being trespassed. My body knows. And in the moment, I process it and I communicate it. That is a healthier way. And because we're not yet at explosion level, it comes out in a more, I don't know if reasonable is the right word, but in a more gentle way. Whereas if I would repress that stuff, it's like shaking a champagne bottle. Dude, and eventually it's gonna come, and not in a fiesta kind of sense, more in a like, damn, where the hell did that come from kind of sense. Yeah? So listening to us in the moment, trusting that what we're feeling, what we're sensing is valid, is indicating, is revealing some information that's important for us in the situation, is important. Ma? Whew. Yeah, it's no coincidence that our shadow follows us, even literally. There's this Instagram or TikTok video or reel, whatever, of this little kid running away scared because it sees its own shadow. It's kind of cute, no? But aren't we the same sometimes? I used to be like that. I used to run in circles trying to run away and outsmart my own shadow. And that's pretty crazy. And of course, the shadow came like back with a vengeance and almost swallowed me, in the sense that it needed me to recognize it, to validate it, and to actually accept it compassionately. So our shadow is not the dark, nasty, crazy, evil stuff. No, not necessarily. There are aspects of us that make us whole again. And on the point of evil, because we're in a time-space reality where we use these kind of words to orient ourselves, as human beings, we are made of light and dark, of evil and good. The potential seed for both is there. Now it's up to us what seeds we water, Thich Nhat Hanh's words, with our attention, with our devotion. So I feel it is more reasonable to accept that even I am capable of committing evil acts if the circumstances push me to. However, I choose to consciously in the moment not commit those acts, being aware that I could. And I consciously put my watering, my attention, my love onto the seeds that I want to grow in my own consciousness. I feel that is more reasonable, wholesome, and realistic. Because guess what? If we pretend that we're only good, we are the good citizen. We would never commit that crime. We're essentially rejecting our own shadow and projecting it out there. There's more power in knowing that we're both light and dark, and in consciously choosing the light, than in pretending that we're only light and rejecting the shadow part. It's essentially hypocrisy also, or lack of awareness. So our shadow parts are only different aspects of us. And if you really think about it, the all, the mind, source, created everything, even the contrast, even the seed for evil, as contrast for the light. So it's all part of source. But it's up to us to choose to be or not to be, to create or to destroy, moment by moment. And that question is actually an urgent one. I listened to Eisenstein. I finally got his book, Sacred Economics. The moment-by-moment choice of what we say yes to is very important. Because by saying yes to one thing rather than the other, to saying yes to life rather than control, love rather than fear, we are opening a different timeline. We are creating the future with that choice. So it is a sobering choice. And that is free will. Human beings have free will, for good or for worse. How are we using our free will? And you know, I always tell you, I'm no freaking saint. I am a joy coach. I got excellent training by Simone Sol, Melissa Tiers in coaching, in techniques that help us rewire our brain. But even I, as a human being, need coaching. So I have a coach. And it's amazing to have someone to reflect you back to you, your own process back to you, help you integrate, help you transmute, help you release. I'm also not saying that I'm only goody two shoes here. I have my shadow. I still smoke my Gudang Garam cigarettes now, which I actually consciously, well, I'm playing with it because there's some kind of pleasure in it, but it's also obviously, you know, my body's an ecosystem. If I pollute it, and I kind of talk about stop the pollution out there if I'm polluting my own body, as within, so without. So there is a conscious choice to make. Also has to do with energy because I feel when I smoke a cigarette, my vibration lowers, obviously, just like alcohol can be a downer, no? So I'm not saying that I'm free from vices or don't have my struggles or, you know, I'm not battling not demons anymore so much because I treat them differently, my demons. They only become demons if I don't actually listen to them, my shadow aspects. But they're there. They're always there, my shadow parts. But they help me also to be conscious of them and to consciously choose a different route. Because they are my contrapunto, where I can navigate, where I can relate to, where I can make relative choices. Because everything is a polarity, good, evil, yin, yang, masculine, feminine, no? It's only at which end of the spectrum are we? And how do we put things into balance? And that's where shadow integration is so important, to come into wholeness, and stop or drop the mask also. Because a past version of me, the goody two shoes, people pleaser, nice girl, was like highly manipulative. Because I used to fawn and please other people to get my way or to get acceptance. And that's being manipulative. It's being deceptive also. Because I didn't speak my truth, and then it was creating confusion rather than clarity. I'd rather be honest and kind, but not nice. And at the essence of being kind is also taking yourself seriously, taking what you feel seriously, having boundaries, honoring yourself, and watching where your attention goes and your energy, because they are linked. And that's a big theme again with this eclipse season. Where are we leeching our energy? What can we let go of in order to create spaciousness for the new? Because it is arriving. Good stuff is around the corner, guys. And I always tell you, the best actually is yet to come, and it never ends. We never end, our process never ends, our integration never ends, our journey never ends. So we can also relax, because there's no point of perfection to reach. Unlike before, I used to think, oh my God, I have to be perfect. I have to reach this goal. And then I'm happy. And then I'm perfect. And then it's done. No, it's never done. So might as well say, hey guys, actually, looking back, I've come a long way. Looking forward, there's a lot of shit to get done. The present moment is pretty cool because this is a milestone in my journey, just as valid as all the other milestones in the past and in the future to come. So why not celebrate now? Yeah? All right, that was my little intro speech. No karaoke today. My karaoke is, for those of you, I'm half Filipina. All of my cousins, all of my family actually sing. And again, I was too shy. I rejected my voice. I didn't trust my voice. And yeah, I was too self-conscious. Whereas now I'm like, you know what? We've got a voice. And how does it make you feel? That's an important question. When facing a dilemma or decision or an intersection, I always ask myself, how do you want to feel? And nowadays I want to feel expansive. I want to feel excited. I want to feel eager. I want to feel turned on. I want to feel curious. I don't want to feel bogged down. I don't want to feel contracted. I don't want to feel heavy. I have a choice to make now from this awareness. And it's great that I'm actually able to make a choice, because that awareness was not always there. And I used to think I'm stuck, that there was no choice. But there is. So, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? What do you need to let go in order to feel more expansive, lighter, more joyful, or even just at peace? And peace is underrated, guys. I mean, joy is excellent also, but even peace. I'm like, you know what, guys? I just want my peace. Cutting off toxic shit. Not even toxic, but just stuff that doesn't serve me anymore. All right, so there's that. If you're still with me, oh man, we're already 30 minutes. You know what? I'm gonna tease you a bit. I'm gonna stop it right here and publish another video just coming up next with the cards. How is that? Okay, this was my little lecture magic mail for post-eclipse season. And like my tango dress, I know a little bit my brow was showing, but hey, it's a bit of a teaser too. So for you newcomers, you're either shocked or you like resonate with me. If you do, I am a joy coach, integrative joy coach, meaning conscious, compassionate container to help you go through your own transition, transmutation, integration process, releasing of fears, creation of new habits, going through change, witnessing you, reflecting you back to yourself. That is me. I'm also a tarot reader. I'm a public speaker. I'm a visual artist, and I'm a dancer. If you want to know more regarding tarot readings or coaching, email me. My email is in the description box below. If you like my videos, I super appreciate any likes, shares, and subscribe to help my channel grow into the Ethernet. And voila, stay tuned, because I'm recording my next episode 17 coming up right after this. Ciao.